Hello, my name is Rita Rasuli. Welcome to Suicide Prevention Presentation. Suicide can be very difficult to talk about. If you feel overwhelmed at any time, please stop the video and take a break. Here are some calming strategies that may help. Close your eyes and slowly count to 10. Take a few deep breaths. Get a drink of water. Go into a quiet room and meditate. Or listen to music. In this training, we will go over suicide terminology and language, statistics regarding suicide and suicide ideation, risk factors that increase risk of suicide, protective factors to help decrease suicide behavior, and resources that can help students build resiliency. Before we begin, let's look at some terminology. Suicide is when people harm themselves with the intention of ending their life. Death is the result. A suicide attempt is when people harm themselves with the intention of ending their life, but they do not die. Suicide ideation is a broad term that describes various considerations regarding suicide. This is often referred to as suicidal thoughts or ideas. In 2020, suicide rates rose 30% higher than in 2000. Also in the year 2020, suicide was reported to be among the top 9 leading causes of death for people ages 10 to 64, and the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 14 and 25 to 34. Almost 46,000 people died by suicide. That is estimated to be one death every 11 minutes. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, reports that suicide is a serious public health problem which can affect individuals, families, and communities for a long time. Recognizing risk factors in order to reduce them while promoting resilience can have a dramatic effect on suicide prevention. There are some terms to avoid using regarding suicide because they may have a negative implication, stigmatizing the concept of suicide and mental health, which could reduce help-seeking behavior. Avoid using commit or committed suicide. The term commit implies suicide is a sin or a crime. This reinforces the stigma that it is a selfish act. Instead, use death by suicide or died by suicide. Using a neutral phrase like died by suicide helps take away the shame or blame element. Other terms to avoid are successful or unsuccessful attempt. The term success implies somewhat of an achievement. Instead, use phrases like live through suicide attempt, survive suicide attempt, or attempted suicide without adding success or lack thereof. Finally, avoid putting the person before the condition, as in he or she is suicidal, or using their name before the words is suicidal. This makes the person's condition part of their identity. Rather, use he or she is having suicidal thoughts, or using their name and saying they are having suicidal thoughts. A person is not their illness, they have an illness. Celebrities who have died by suicide have had some positive impact on talking about mental health. However, it is also found that there is an increase in suicide rates in the weeks following the reporting of a celebrity who died by suicide. Studies show that those who are at increased risk for suicide are even more vulnerable during these times. Some risk factors that may increase possibility of suicide are a previous suicide attempt, mental disorders such as depression and/or substance use disorder, history of mental disorders among immediate family members or caretakers, abuse and/or neglect, and bullying is another risk factor in increasing the possibility of suicide. School problems and academic stress were found in 14% of suicide cases in 2018. Other life events that can increase the possibility of suicide are sexual violence, social isolation, and access to lethal means. Some populations have been found to be at even greater risk of suicide. American Indians, Alaskan Natives, and people with disabilities, as well as members of the LGBTQ+ community, have higher rates of suicide than other populations. People with disabilities are 3 times more likely to have suicide ideation than those without disabilities. People with disabilities have higher rates of mental distress, which is a lead risk factor for suicide. Suicide attempt among high school students who identify as LGBTQ+ is reported as almost 4 times higher than the rate reported among heterosexual students. Suicide rates among LGBTQ+ are believed to be caused by prejudice and discrimination, by their being mistreated and stigmatized by family and community. Some warning signs that a person may be experiencing thoughts of suicide are making statements that they want to die, feeling like they are a burden or having feelings of guilt and shame, displaying extreme emotions and mood swings, isolating from family and friends, giving away important possessions, starting or increasing drug and/or alcohol use. If a person is displaying behaviors that may indicate any warning signs, it is important to ask them how they're feeling. Validate their feelings by using phrases such as, "What I hear you are saying is that you," and then repeat what they just told you. If you think someone may be having thoughts of suicide, ask them, "Are you thinking about suicide?" This may be a difficult question to ask. However, research has shown that asking this question directly may help the person in distress and does not increase the risk of suicide as previously believed. Here are the 5 action steps to help someone in emotional pain according to the National Institute of Mental Health. Ask, "Are you thinking about killing yourself?" Then, keep them safe by reducing access to lethal means. Be there, listen and acknowledge their feelings. Help them connect to a lifeline. Save the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number or any other local resources that you may have. Finally, stay connected to them by following up and keeping in touch with them. Suicide prevention resources, as well as the CDC, identify protective factors as a way for people to learn positive life skills, such as coping skills, to find connectiveness with family and/or community, and to build self-esteem in order to be able to minimize mental distress. There are several protective factors that can minimize risk of suicide for young people. Some of these protective factors include coping and problem-solving skills, connections to family, friends, and community, supportive relationships with trusted adults. One trusted adult in a young person's life can make a positive impact on their emotional needs. Research on childhood trauma and experiences has found that a trusted adult can help a young person build resiliency, as well as increase their having access to physical and mental health care. Now let's take a look at some resources that are available to those in a crisis. Save these numbers in your phone for immediate access. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is a national hotline that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to those in crisis. The number to call is 1-800-273-8255. 988 has been designated as the new 3-digit dialing code that will route callers to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. When people call, text, or chat 988, they will be connected to trained counselors that are part of the existing Lifeline network. These trained counselors will listen and understand how their problems are affecting them, provide support, and connect them to resources if necessary. The previous Lifeline phone number, 1-800-273-8255, which we just discussed, will always remain available to people in emotional distress or suicidal crisis. You can also text HOME to 741-741 for 24/7 crisis support. NAMI, which is short for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is an organization whose purpose is to provide mental health support to those in need. Their helpline is available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. The phone number is 1-800-950-6264. Or you can text NAMI to 741-741 for free crisis counseling that is available 24/7. The National Human Trafficking Hotline connects survivors and victims of labor and sex trafficking to resources that can help them find safety. The number is 1-888-373-7888. The Trevor Project is a 24/7 crisis intervention and suicide prevention for LGBTQ+ teens. Text START, START, to 678-678. I also recommend to have local resources available to those who may need it. Promoting resilience has been found to reduce the incidence of stress-related disorders among the general population, as well as reducing suicide risk among high-risk individuals. Resilience has been found in reduction of suicide ideation among all populations, including those most vulnerable. Social-emotional learning programs and family relationship programs are found to be highly effective in promoting healthy behavior among teens. Peer programs and community engagement activities can also have a positive impact on mental health for students. NAMI on Campus High School, or NCHS clubs, are student-led clubs that raise mental health awareness and reduce stigma on campus through peer-led activities and education. The purpose of NAMI on Campus is to offer support and resources to those who are living with mental illness. This peer-led club can be a vital resource for students. You can find information and resources on how to start a NAMI club at your school by going to their website. The California Healthy Kids Resource Center is a resource that is available to educators across California. This free lending library is available for educators to utilize curriculum within the classroom. Among other subject areas that promote health literacy, there are several curricula to choose from in social-emotional health. Suicide can have a lasting impact on family and community. Reducing stigma surrounding mental health and suicide is a crucial step in suicide prevention. Peer programs and community outreach programs can offer a safe space for teens to learn coping skills and to find the support needed when in crisis. By reducing stigma, offering support, and offering community resources, suicide can be prevented. Now it's time to test your knowledge. Please type in the URL you see on the screen, or using your phone or tablet, scan the QR code to take you to the Google form for assessment. Once you have successfully completed the assessment, you will receive a certificate of completion in the email you provide. Here are just a few of the resources used in creating this presentation. Thank you for participating in this suicide prevention presentation.